guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today I'm going to do a tutorial about Tone Studio for the Boss Katana MK2. And I'm using my SM57. I'll put a picture so you guys can see where the microphone is. And I'm plugged into the MK2. And this is the window from the console. So this is my Apollo Twin MK2 interface. There's a lot of stuff that I can put here, like this preamp, which is off right now. So I'm not using anything to color the sound, okay? It's going straight into Logic, which is here, by the way, already recording, but nothing, because I haven't played nothing yet. And then Boss Tone Studio, it's here, okay? So the sound that I have right now is this clean tone with the knobs. Let me put the knobs at noon, sort of, and see how it sounds on this Fender Vintera Strat 60. So very dry for now. Okay, Boss Tone Studio for the MK2 is very different from the MK1, as you guys probably have seen it, and gives you more flexibility. You have more effects. This is part of the amp, of course, the new amp, and you can also play with more effects at the same time, which is really great. Also here on the chain, you have 4 chain effects. I think previously you only had 3, okay? There's some guys that still say that you can't add an effect. It's true, compressor before the booster, and it's true. You cannot do that. But if you have kind of a pedal, I have a compressor pedal here by Nux, one of those small. It's really small pedals. It's really cool. But I'm not going to use it right now. I'm going to use this chain too, probably, for now. And let's scope the tone. So let's start with the clean tone first. And this is on the neck pickup from the Strat. I'm going to use the vintage resonance, because if I change it, the sound will be a little bit different, okay? This is a taste thing, and depending what type of sound you want to build. I'm looking for a sort of a vintage tone here with my Strat, okay? Probably I'll start with the clean channel and then going into some crunch territory. Also, there's a variation which gives you a total of 10 different amps, right? You see clean, crunch, lead, and brown are 5, and then with the variation, you add 10 different amps. So if I click first without the variation, now with the variation. Okay, let's check out again. I like it with the variation because it opens up a little bit the sound, the tone. Brighter tone. And what else? I'm gonna check here my noise suppressor if it's engaged. It is engaged, but since it's a clean tone, I could probably disengage it, but I'm gonna leave it here around 15 because there's no need for a higher threshold. Will cut your sound totally. And this is a panel with the effects that you have. I have right now this is delay and reverb. I'm gonna change this to just delay. Depends on the delay you choose as well. But okay, then you have all these tabs, booster. This is very similar to the Boss GT1000 interface. It's almost the same. You lose those knobs. Some guys said that missing the knobs give more of a vintage feel. But anyway, I think this is more, it's more well made. You understand it much better. Modulation, effects, delay. Then you have delay 2. Now you can record stereo delays as well on MK1 because of the software upgrade for version 4. We have reverb with all the typical reverbs. There's a modulation reverb here. I don't know if it was previously there or not, I can't remember. Pedal effects, you also have this now on the new Katana, on the Katana MK1. It can be pedal wah, pedal bend, or another wah. EQ, by the way, the EQ is on. I'm gonna put everything at 0, so it doesn't affect anything. Okay. Okay, still with the same tone. Nice suppressor, we already talked about this. Send return, it's on, there's nothing there. And then the assignment tabs, so you can choose whatever you want. Let's go back to the first page. Well, there's not really a first page, but the chain, and mess around a little bit with the knobs. I'm going to take some mids because I'm going to try to recreate like a Fender tone. And Fenders are usually known by their scooped mids, okay? I'm going to increase the treble a little bit, unless you're going for that type of John Mayer tone and solo, which is kind of muffled, you know, there's not much high. Too much. I'm gonna be careful with these knobs. Of course, I have to test with different pickups because I'm using the neck pickup. This is the fourth position in the middle. Second position. And bridge position. I'm not really a fan of the bridge position on any Stratocaster. Don't ask me why. Sometimes it's handy to cut through the mix, you know. Those really highs, but I prefer the bridge on the Telecaster, which is much brighter, but has that spanky tone. So I rarely use the bridge position on the Strat, except if I'm doing a solo or more heavy stuff, you know. What I love is all of the rest of the position. I really love them all, and probably the neck pickup has this really smooth and organic tone. So right now I'm going into the EQ because it's part of my tone, and what I like to do is around 200 Hertz low mid frequency, increase around 2 decibels low mid gain, so I'm going to increase 2 decibels here, decibels. There's more body around here. You can experiment around 300 to 400. I like it 200. There's a low cut here. I'm going to leave it as it is, or around 50, because there's a lot of bass on the amp. Okay, no low gain here. I mid gain also, like about the Q. I like to have a wider Q. In this case, I usually use wider Qs both for boosting and for cutting. Although for boosting, for cutting, I mean, you should really use narrow EQs. So because you're narrowing your specific frequency that you don't like or something like that, you want to scoop it somehow for some reason. And vice versa, when you're boosting, you should use more of a open wide EQ, which is this figure to the left. If I put it like this, it'll be very narrow. Okay, low mid Q. I don't know if you can. Yeah, it sounds more open like that. That's what I want. And now I'm going to increase around 1K, around 2 decibels as well, as I usually do. But right now, yes, right now it's a broader EQ and also broader EQ here, wider EQ, okay? Because I'm boosting. Now, again, I'm gonna do nothing about this and already roll off a lot of stuff here in flat. But since I'm using a Strat and it's more of a vintage tone, I should go around 5 kilohertz, because it's really where things start to but I'm gonna open this around 10 kilohertz because to have more range in the frequency spectrum. I can always cut on the equalizer on the top, also on the presence knob, and so far it's good, sounding good. Okay, so this basically would do for me as a clean tone. I'm going to increase the presence around 75 and reduce the treble a little bit. It's sounding good. I'm going to reduce also the bass a little bit, around 35, something like this. I don't need so much bass. And I need to lose it a little so much as well, so around 40, 44. Okay, right now I'm gonna add some reverb because the sound is very dry. And on the reverb, I really like to play reverb, but we have that problem with, at least we have on the MK1, the sensitivity knob should be on 0 because it would do weird things, like the springs moving really crazy. It's not the plate reverb, I'm sorry, I want the spring reverb. Okay, I have something here, like I'm hearing some delay as well. Yes, I do. So I'm gonna change here just to reverb. Okay, now it's cool. And back to the reverb. Yes, because you can assign to one knob to effect, so it will leave you with more effects in the end, more than the Katana already brings, the Katana MK2. So now on the spring reverb, sounding cool. There's a lot of low cut. I'm gonna reduce this. Open a little bit the high cut, and the density I'm gonna reduce it as well. There's color, so I'm gonna put it much higher right now so you guys can see what color does. If I put color to the left, it's a very dark reverb. Put everything to the right, very bright reverb. Let me see. I don't dislike it, and as a matter of fact, this is one of the improvements of the MK2. The effects sound much better. This is just my opinion, but that's the way it is. Okay, now it's too much of reverb. I'm gonna back up the color a little bit for a more darker one. Also back up the level and also back up the reverb time. I don't need so much reverb time. 2.3 seconds probably. No pre-delay. If you engage it, you'll have like this, where the reverb goes after a certain amount of milliseconds. A little more reverb, a little more of the effect. Neck position right now. Even for solo stuff. Excuse me for my poor playing because tendinitis and problems on the back, and I haven't warm up. Anyways, what I like to do here as well on the clean channel, because it's not already done, I like to go into the effects tab. Where is it? Here, and choose not chorus, choose probably a graphic EQ. Okay, I might want to tailor a little bit more the tone. Okay, it's already engaged here for more, around 250, but I'm gonna leave it at 1. Also, I'm gonna take a little bit at 500. That's scoop middle tone like a Fender. At 1K, it's very low. I'm gonna increase it probably to 0 right now. Check out the tone. I decrease it at 16K because I don't really need those nasty frequencies. And around 2K, I'm gonna leave it at 0 right now. There's something annoying me. Probably here. On this type of EQ, the difference is you cannot choose how narrow or wide the frequency is. So also the 250 right now, I have increased it on the other EQ, and now I'm gonna take it here. Too much highs, I'm gonna take around 2 decibels on 8K. Or actually, I'm going to leave it as it is and take on the amp itself physical knob, sort of. Not so much. 35, let's check out. Okay, it's sounding great right now because this technique where you go into one EQ and boost at around 200 and take again, it's a very old technique used in studios where the guys use the Pultec EQs to boost the frequency and then reduce it at the same time. And in the exact same spot, not exactly as it is right now because it's 250 and 200. But anyways, it sounds very good. So I highly recommend you to do that. And we are in variation 1. I'm going to disengage the variations just to see what we have accomplished without it. Okay, a little bit dull, a little bit more. I like it the way it is right now. It shines. And also right now, I'm going to modulation. I don't know if I can do this in modulation. Yes, I can do. So first I'm going to chain and see if my modulation is here, exactly what it is, because I want to add some compressor, okay? And I'm going to engage the compressor. I don't know what it's going to do the way it is. Nothing, because level is very basically down. Okay, so I'm going to have to increase the sustain. I'm going into a fast attack. I'm not going to move with the tone. Okay, level a little bit down, and I like this orange compressor. Don't ask me why, but I think it's one that sounds better. It's very subtle, but you can hear it when it is engaged. And also depends on the chain that you choose. Because if you go into chain 1, it'll put it after the after amplifier EQ. You can certainly notice much more. Or even on chain 4. It really depends, but I like it on chain 2, where it is in front. I'm not going to use any booster right now. It's good because when you're playing, you'll notice that you have a little bit more of attack. If I can hit the strings properly. Okay, cool. So I really like this tone, so I'm going to write it. I'm going to write it on, not on the panel, of course, in channel 1, and I'm going to call it, I don't know, what do you guys think? Vintage, I'm so tired of always giving the same names. Vintage Strat. So it goes like this. Okay. What I'm going to do now is write the same thing on channel 2 and go from there, because I might lose anything while I make some changes. And now on this channel, on the second patch, will be a crunch, or even probably I won't go into the crunch. I will reduce the reverb for sure, and I'm gonna try the booster and see how it sounds. Okay, let me get just warm overdrive and see what's happening. It's very, very high effect level, and it's giving me too much distortion, even without almost anything. Let's check out the Tube Screamer. Put this to 0 because this was already done for some stuff that I've done. You can double click here, by the way, and this appears. Okay, 0. Sometimes it doesn't work with the mouse. So the problem with these boosters, or any booster in the real world, is that sometimes you lose a lot of bottom hand from the guitar. Okay, and for that I like to use the clean boost, because basically it stays the same. With more level, of course. Let me increase the drive a little bit. Around here. Decrease the effect level. I'm going to volume, decrease it, and increase the gain here almost to max. This is one of the options you can do, but I'm not really liking the tone like this. So probably let me choose another booster, something that overdrives but not too much. Crunch overdrive. Let me check this one. Not this I'm looking for. Overdrive. No, blues drive probably will do the trick. Let's check out. Yeah, I'm gonna reduce effect level, increase the drive, and let me check out and reduce the bottom hand as well. We're getting some gain here, right? But if I'm not happy with this, using the clean channel, I disengage the booster and just go straight into the ground channel. Right now, as you can see, there's a lot of noise, so noise suppressor around 40 because this is a Strat and I'm near the computer and lights, so I have more noise than normally I would have. Also, the volume has gone well. Okay. No, I'm not liking the variation on this one. Disengage it. Much better. Now I'm going to the EQ because I'm running out of time on my camera. I'm going to the EQ and now I'm going to cut the I cut around 5. Cut the I cut. Exactly. Sounding good. Back to the booster. Tone a little bit down probably. Take booster. No, not this one. Now I'm going for a clean boost. It runs up the tone, it's very smooth. But I'm going to disengage it because I'm going to share these presets for free. And it's up to you to decide if you want to use a booster or not. Let's go to the effects tab and reduce a little bit more, around 125 and around probably 250. If it cleans up the mud here. Yeah, and then you can add some delay. I don't know if you like delay on vintage tones. I especially like the modulation or the ST3000 because it's on modulation sounds really cool at the end of the notes. But it's very low. I'm guessing why it's here. Let's go back to the delay and see what's going on. Feedback, oh, effect level, it's very low. Yeah, it's cool, around 4 something. Double click and just write 420. Okay. The range of the modulation, delay, I'm gonna change anything here. Modulation rate, it's here, and depth, it's also here. So you can also use your tone control here to get it more convincing. What I also do in here is probably increase the, let's go to the, where is it? The modulation, the compressor. I'll increase the sustain a little bit and see how it sounds. Perfect, so I'm gonna write this one. I have only 5 minutes on tape, vintage Strat, and what, solo? Oh, it doesn't fit, so I'm gonna have to cut some corners here. It's gonna be just soul. Okay, hope you guys understand this. Okay, so I'm going to Librarian right now and create a live set. Free Strat. Okay, and just drag and drop these two settings, vintage Strat, just like on the GT1000, and vintage Strat Soul. Okay, now into this arrow here, export, live set, free strat, file, into my desktop, save, boom, it's done. So only 4 minutes of video. So hope you guys enjoyed this small, not small, it's very big tutorial. And please download the patches on my website. I'm gonna post them there on the free content. There's a lot of free content as well, not just these 2 new patches made for the MK2. Don't forget about that. You cannot use this one on the MK1. Vice versa, you could do it, not like this. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Many thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next one. Cheers.